This is how to convert fractions to decimals. We're going to show you the traditional way to do it, and then we're going to show you a bunch of tricks to make your life easy. So first of all, fractions to decimals. If you for this unit, you're not allowed to use a calculator, so you just have to know how to divide where the numerator is divided by the denominator. For example, if you have 4/15, that's the same thing as saying 4 divided by 15. But you don't have a calculator, so you have to know how to work it out. The first number always goes in the house, or the numerator always goes in the house. And you have 4 divided by 15. 15 does not fit into 4, so we need to throw a decimal and a few zeros in that house. So now, 15 does not go into 4, so we throw the 0 and the decimal up there. 15 goes into 40 twice. And then 15 times 2 is 30. You work that out, you get 10 left over. We drop a 0, and 15 goes into 100 6 times. 15 times 6 is 90. We subtract that. We get 10 left over. Now, we just had 10 left over, and I'm going to drop down another 0. Doesn't that mean we would just keep getting 6s to go on and on and on forever? So this is a rational number, but it's a repeating rational number. It's 0.266666 going on and on forever. But it is a rational number since it started out as a fraction at the beginning. Now, if you still don't know how to do this, you need to sit down with your teacher during study hall or after school. Learn how to do this. This is a skill you need to know how to do. Now what we're going to do is learn how to do some tricks. You don't always have to work all these problems out. Here are some tricks. They're pretty easy. They're easy to memorize, and you shouldn't have too many problems with them. The first one is going to be halves to decimal tricks. This is any time your denominator is a 2. Basically, 1/2 is the same as 5/10. 1/2 is the same as 0.5. Hopefully, that is not a brand new concept to you. 1/2 is 0.5. 5/10. That one, that's all there is to it. That's all you need to memorize for that one. Now let's talk about thirds. Thirds, all you have to do is remember 2 things. You have to just know that thirds are going to be either a repeating 3 or a repeating 6. So 1/3. One way you can think about it is you take 1/3 and put it in the 10ths place and put a bar over it. 1/3 is 0.3 repeating. If you have 2/3, you just basically double what you had before. 0.6 repeating. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. If you can remember those for thirds, you're set. Now fourths, pretty easy. Just think about money. Quarters. 4 quarters make $1, so these are fourths that we're dealing with. 1/4 is going to be 1/4, which is 25 cents, 0.25. 25 hundredths. 3/4 is 3 quarters, which hopefully you know is 75 cents, or for what we're talking about, it would be 75 hundredths. We don't have to worry about 2/4 because we already know that 2/4 is 1/2 in lower terms, and we already learned about 1/2. So now we're going to talk about fifths. Basically, you take your numerator and you double it. You double the numerator and put it in the 10ths place. So when you have 2/5, you take the numerator, you double it, you multiply it by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Your answer is 0.4, 4/10. Hopefully you've caught on to this. 4/5, you double the 4, you're going to get 0.8. 3/5, you take the 3, you double it, you get 6/10. And that's it. That's all you need to do for fifths. Now keep in mind, this only works for fifths. Don't try doing it to sixths or thirds or any of that. Now let's talk about the trick for sixths. You only really need to remember 2 things. You need to know that 1/6 is going to be 0.16 with the 6 repeating. Now this is the only time the numbers of a fraction are also involved in its equal decimal. Don't think that you can turn every fraction on its side and get your right answer. Just look at 5/6. 5/6 is not 0.56 repeating. It's not that I wish it was. That'd make things real easy. But you just have to memorize that 5/6 is 0.83 with the 3 repeating. That's all there is. That's those two for sixths. That's all you need to do. Because 2/6 in lower terms is 1/3. We've done that one. 3/6 is a half. And 4/6 is 2/3. So that's the sixths. So here come the sevenths, probably the weirdest one. Over to the right, we have that little pattern of numbers where it says 1428557, 1428557, 1428557 with a bunch of arrows around it. I'm singing that dumb song because it's going to help you. Watch what we do. This is a really weird trick, but it works. Sevenths are always going to be a repeating 6-number pattern. Find out what will be in the 10th place and then start the pattern from that number. It's kind of weird to understand, but watch how it works. Let's do 5/7. Well, if we were to set up a division house, we know that 7 does not fit into 5, so it would be, we would think of it as 5.0 divided by 7. So you would think, how many 7s would go into 50? 7 goes into 50 7 times. So we know that the pattern is going to start with a 7. 7 goes into 50 7 times. And we know that the pattern is going to start with a 7. So over here I've highlighted the 7 to the right. And basically just go in a clockwise direction. It started with a 7 and then it goes the 1428557, 1428557. So it started with a 7 and then it continues. It's a 6-number pattern starting with the 7. Now let's do another one called 3/7. The first thing you're going to think about is how many 7s fit into 30. Well, if you count by your 7s, 7, 14, 21, 28, it goes in 4 times. 7 goes into 30 4 times. Now we're going to see over here in our pattern, 4 is our starting number. What comes after the 4? It's the 28571. And if you see, it still has that silly song that I was singing, the 1428557, 1428557. 2/7. How many 7s fit into 20? 7 fits into 20 2 times. So our pattern is going to start with a 2. There's your 2, so you sing the song, 1428557, and you know that 8 comes after the 2. So there is your 6-number pattern. The eighths. Eighths aren't too bad. There's 2 ways to look at it. Eighths that are in lowest terms. So we don't need to worry about 2/8, 4/8, and 6/8. The eighths will always be a 3-digit number ending in 5, a 3-digit decimal ending in 5. So 1/8 is going to look something like this. It'll be 0.something-something-5. And 3/8 will be 0.something-something-5. 5/8 will be 0.something-something-5. And 7/8 will also be that. So we have these mystery numbers. Now there's a few different ways you can figure it out. I'm going to give you another slide here in a minute on how to figure them out. You could just memorize them. So 1/8 is 125 thousandths. 3/8 is 375 thousandths. 5/8 is 625 thousandths. 7/8 is 875 thousandths. I'm going to bring up a number line. I think this will help you more. We're going to go ahead and we're going to show that this number line is chopped into eighths. At one end we have 0/8, and then we have 8/8, which is the same thing as 1 whole. So we're going to go ahead and get some things in lower terms and in decimals. So we know that 0 is 0, 2/8 is 1/4, 4/8 is a half in lower terms, 6/8 is 3/4, and 8/8 is 1. So we're going to go ahead and write those numbers up at the top of the number line. So, and we're going to write them as decimals. So basically that's our dollar chopped into fourths. We've got a quarter, 50 cents, and 75 cents. Now if you look at all those other eighths that we still haven't touched, the 1/8, the 3/8, the 5/8, and the 7/8, those are all exactly between the quarter amounts. So one way you can think about this is 1/8 is half a quarter. And when you chop a quarter in half, that would be, if you did 0.25 divided by 2, you'd get this. Halfway from 0 to 25 cents is 0.125. Now if you can focus on that 12, and if you look at 3/8, 3/8 is just above a quarter, add 12 to 25 and get 25 plus 12 is 37, and it's 0.375, 375 thousandths. If you take 50 cents and add 12 to it, you get 62, and then stick a 5 at the end. Halfway between 50 cents and 75 cents would be 62.5 cents. Then you have 75 cents, or 75 hundredths, to 1 whole, or halfway between 75 cents and $1. Add 12 to the 75, you get 87, and then stick a 5 after it, 0.875. That's the eighths. That's probably one of the harder tricks, but it's a good one. Then we have the ninths. Basically, you take your numerator, put it in the tenths place, and put a repeating bar over it, and you're good to go. So we have 4/9. What's our numerator? It's 4. You take the numerator, put a bar over it, put it in the tenths place. 8/9. Take the 8, put a bar over it, put it in the tenths place. 2/9. Take the 2, put a bar over it, and there you go. 5/9. Hopefully you're catching on to this. 5/9 is 0.5 repeating. Our tenths are just as easy as the ninths. They're even easier because you don't have to put the repeating bar over it. You take the numerator, put it in the tenths place. 4/10, 0.4. 8/10, 0.8, or 8/10, just like the decimal. The decimal gives you the answer. 8/10 is 8/10. 2/10 is 0.2, or 2/10. 5/10, 0.5. 1/10, 0.1, and so on. 11ths. 11ths. Pretty cool stuff here. What you do for 11ths is you're going to get a 2-digit repeating decimal for every 11th. To figure out what that repeating decimal is, you multiply your numerator by 9. So here we go. Let's just see a couple of these in action. If you take 5/11ths, you multiply the numerator by 9. 5 times 9 is 45. 45 repeating. There it is. 1/11th. You take, it's going to be a 2-digit repeater. So you do 1 times 9. Now 1 times 9 is 9. How would you think of 9 as a 2-digit number? You would think of it as 0.9. So 1 times 9 is 0.9. So you've got 1/11th being 0.090909. 8/11ths. You do 8 times 9, and you get 72 hundredths, but you put a bar over it, 0.727272, and so on. 10/11ths. You take 10 times 9 and get 90, and you get 909090. So don't get 1/11th and 10/11th confused, because 1/11th is 0.09 repeating, 10/11ths is 0.90 repeating. So don't get your 090909 confused with your 90909. Let's do some review. 4/5. The trick: double the numerator, 8/10. 1/11th, okay, we just talked about 11ths. You take your 1, your numerator, and multiply it by 9. And it's going to be 0.09. 1/6 is going to be, this is one of those ones you just need to memorize, 0.16 repeating. This is the only time you can kind of turn a fraction on its side and get the right answer. So 1/6 is 0.16 with the 6 repeating. Don't put that repeater bar over the 1. 1/7. So this is the weird one. you're going to do the trick, that 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7 pattern. You're going to think of 7 going into 10 once. So the pattern's going to start with a 1, and it's going to be 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. Get that song in your head. So that's the 7ths song. If we have 4 ninths, the trick is take your numerator, stick it in the 10ths place, put a bar over it. So numerator in the 10ths, make repeat. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. Then we have 10 11ths. This is the trick where you multiply the numerator by 9. This is a weird one. 10 times 9 is 90. So it's a 2-digit repeater. Multiply by 9. Multiply the numerator by 9. And you get 0.90909090. 5/6. This is one you just need to memorize. It's going to be 0.8 with the 3 repeating. Don't put the bar over the 8. 2/3. 2/3 is going to be 3 times 2 is 6. You get 0.6 repeating. And we have 3/11ths. This is where you multiply the numerator by 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 0.272727, and so on. Here the bar goes over both numbers. Okay, now we have 2/5. Double the numerator, stick it in the 10ths place. There it is. 5/8. This one's a little bit weird. 5/8. Let's see, 4/8 is a half. So let's add 12 cents to the 50 cents. That's a half. So 50 cents plus 12 is 62. Then stick a little 5 after it. Half a quarter above 50 cents. So it's going to be 625. 50 cents plus 12 gives you the 62. Then just stick a 5 after it. 7 ninths. Take your 7, make it repeat. Numerator in the 10ths, make it repeat. 7 11ths. We multiply 7 by 9. We get 63, so it's going to be 6/3 repeating. And the bar goes over both of those digits. 4/7. Oh boy. This is that 6-number repeating pattern. To figure out that first digit, you're going to go, how many 7s go into 40? It's going to be 5. So basically our 6-number pattern starts with the 5. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. So hopefully you're picking up on that one. 6/7. Oh, another one. So keep singing that annoying song. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. 7 goes into 60. Let's see, 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. I think it's going to be 8. Goes in there 8 times. And 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. That's probably the trickiest. And we have 1/3. You just take 1 3 and stick a bar over it. And hopefully this will make your life easier. Maybe watch it a few more times and do the homework and all of that good stuff.